Hey guys, I'm Brandon Hall. I'm the Student Ministries Pastor here at ABC. Thanks for stopping by our High Life channel. Enjoy the message from last week.
Friendship goals, squad goals, whatever you call it, your crew or your friends, your squad, whatever that is. We're getting into it. We're talking about it. And as I was thinking about friendship, and I grew up, I was homeschooled, okay? So friendship was always that like holy grail. You always wanted friends, wanted to have a lot of friends, hang out with them on the weekends. Friday nights were like everyone's having fun, doing cool, crazy stuff. I want to be in the middle of that because that's awesome. And so I get into the whole social pipeline where I have this really good friend that was like the most popular guy in school apparently, and I was like, dude, this is a gift from God because I'm like best friends with him. Now he can plug me into the social pipeline, connect me with all these cool, awesome people. And I also had a really good friend, and transitioned from 8th grade to freshman year, things kind of went, two different ways as far as our friendship and values and things we were into, but man, ever since 8th grade, we carried our basketball team to second place in ABC Summer League solely on our shoulders, okay? So we were like this, and we were ballers, and I know I'm white, but back then I could drain, post up under the hoop. It was sweet. But getting into sophomore year, like the divide of just where we were as friends, things we valued just kept getting bigger and bigger. And I wanted to reach out to him from time to time and just keep tabs on him. And he was into stuff that caused him to hang out a lot of the time during school and lunches in the creek. I never really figured out why he wanted to go play in the creek because you're in high school and there's like pretty girls, and he would just wander into the creek. And I'm like, dude, do I need to have like a sit down talk with you about like the appropriateness of not going in the creek? I figured out what he was doing down there and was like, all right, dude, I definitely don't want to be with you when you're doing that, and then I finally reached out to him and said, hey, it's been a while, let's grab lunch. So he gets in the car, I get in the car, we start cruising out of the lower lot over here, and all of a sudden he's like, whoa, let's these two other guys, let's have them come with us. And I'm like, all right, I didn't really want to, but I can't really say no because I'm a people pleaser, confession. So I'm like, sure, whatever. This is not how I planned, but these guys jump in the car and they're loud and crazy and weird, and they like to hang out in the creek too. And so we're cruising, and I'm like, all right, this is going to be a different lunch than I expected. And all of a sudden the guy from the back seat just yells, whoa, stop. And I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, nothing, just roll down the window. So I roll down the window because I'm a people pleaser. I'm like, I don't know what he's doing, but maybe he has to spit his gum out. I don't know. And all of a sudden this guy approaches the car and he pulls out, his wad of cash like this. And I'm like, that's so weird. What's he doing? And then I realized my friend's pulling this green stuff in a Ziploc bag out. And I'm like, oh, wait, no, homeschool, white kid, what's going on? Drug deal in my car. I'm trying to take my friend out to lunch. Oh my goodness, like I'm an accomplice to selling weed. Like this is not going at all how I planned. In 2 minutes, I'm now breaking the law. What just happened? And so I'm like, dude, seriously, get out of my car, or like we can't deal drugs when you're with me, okay? Like that's one rule, no drug dealing, okay? Is that too hard to ask? And he's like, all right, okay, I'm sorry. That's just what I do. I'm like, apparently now I know you deal drugs. Like that's your deal. I'm taking my friend out to lunch. I'll drive you because I'm supposed to like befriend you, or I'm just trying to love Jesus and be your friend here, okay? I'm trying to figure this out. This is weird. So we go to Taco Bell, eat lunch, come back to school, and walking to class, I'm having this like really intense dialogue. How am I, following Jesus, supposed to befriend these friends? And Jesus hung out with prostitutes, drug dealers, people that did way gnarlier stuff than just selling weed probably during lunch. So how does this work? And if I'm around this, I'm not the strongest dude. I'm weak, I probably will fail. What does this look like? I don't know. So I went to class, kind of shrugged it off and was like, probably need to have some more separation between us and when we hang out and who we hang out with. Fast forward 2 weeks. I get a call Saturday morning from a buddy that we were working in and out, and another childhood friend, and he's like, hey, did you hear about what happened to our buddy, Frank? And I'm like, what happened to Frank? I didn't hear. And he's like, dude, last night he drank a bunch of alcohol, smoked a bunch of shrooms, weed, cocaine, did a bunch of other stuff, and then his friends gave him the keys. And I'm like, dude, that does not sound like a good, wise decision. Like right there, 2 a.m, so many things are wrong. Ends up taking out about 5 to 8 vehicles and 2 telephone poles. He ran into one telephone pole and kept going. On the second telephone pole, his face tried to go through the rearview mirror, but the rearview mirror won and took out his eye down to his cheek, and he was in the hospital and was severely injured, stayed there for 2 days. And I'm like, dude, as much as I wanted to be in the center of the party, and as much as I wanted to be there to be that voice of reason and truth, the reality is we want friends so bad, that sometimes we sacrifice our integrity, who we are as a friend, and put ourselves in situations where we're just like those guys that handed him the keys. And as hard as I was like, dude, that stinks for Frank, but man, that really sucks for those guys that gave him the keys. They're the last stop of reason to be a friend, and they failed. And then we see the consequence. And it's hard to not be in those situations. It's hard to think through difficult friend relationships. And that's what we're going to get into the next couple weeks. But we wanted to start looking at the one verse where Jesus speaks the most clearly about friends. Because our relationship with Jesus, believe it or not, take it or leave it, really does impact and influence and guide how we have friends horizontally, so to speak, how we interact as a friendship down on earth. So we see that we desperately need friends, but we need friends who are going to first build us up, second, serve us, support us, and lastly, thirdly, strengthen us. So we see in John 15, if you have your Bibles, you could open there. We're going to see this first verse, John 15, verse 12 through 15. Jesus is just stoking the disciples up. He just finished telling them, hey, you need to abide in me. You need to stay connected with me. And guess what? You're going to bear so much fruit, you're not going to know what to do with yourself. You're just going to just be blessing people, hooking people up, loving on people. People are going to lose their minds at how you can love them and be a friend to them. But you got to be connected to me. That's the condition. And so he moves from there in John 15 after talking about the fact that he's the true vine and we need to stay connected to him to bear fruit. In verse 12 he says, this is my commandment, that you, yes you, love one another as I've loved you. And he says in verse 13, greater love has no one than this, that someone lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you. And then he goes on and says, no longer do I call you servants, because you servants don't know what the master is doing. I've told you plainly what you're supposed to do. What did he tell us to do? Love one another. What did Jesus tell us to do? What did Jesus tell you to do? What did Jesus tell you to do?
Love one another.
Okay, you're not getting it. What did Jesus tell you to do? Love one another. There you go, okay? Love one another. That's it. Guess what? That's the syllabus. That's what's going to be on the final. When you get to heaven, why shall I let you in? Well, I loved Jesus and I loved others like Jesus loved me. Jesus died on the cross for my sins, gave me a new life. Therefore, I loved one another because of the love with which you loved me through your Son. If you live that out, guess what? As a friend, this is what's crazy. I thought about this as I was singing that song. When we look at friendships, I want you to think about this. When you look at your friendships, how often do you look at that friendship as kind of an empty cup, you could say, and you get excited because how much you can sacrifice, how much you can build them up, how much you can pour into them, versus looking at them as a cup and say, how much can I drink? How much can I take from them? You could say it maybe simpler. Do you look at your relationships, your friendships, as how much you can give to them, or rather what you can get from them? Does that make sense? And Jesus says, here's the deal. You're my friends because I'm just going to give my life for you. I look at this relationship as how much I can give to you to be my friend. I'm going to give everything so that you can be my friend. I'm going to go hang out with the prostitutes, the druggies, and the people that want nothing to do with me and can't understand how I could love them. And I'm going to lay down my life so they can know that I love them without a doubt. And on that foundation, we're going to be friends. And so first off, he says, look, I've built you, disciples. I've made you. I've called you. You think you chose me? No. I chose you. When you were fishing and you couldn't even catch fish, you were horrible fishermen. I called you and said, follow me. I'm going to make you fishers of men. I'm going to make you successful. Without me, you're nothing. You were nothing. You will always be nothing apart from me. But in me, you're everything. And so first thing, we need friends, true friends. True friends build us up. That's the title of this message, True Friends. Be a true friend. True friends do what? Build us up. You could do this. True friends build us up, right? True friends build us up. When people are with you, do they experience Christ in you? It's a question. Think about it. When people are with you, when your friends are with you, do they experience Christ in you? When they're with you, can they literally stop and go, oh my goodness, like what they said just showed me God's love. What they're doing and how they're just experiencing life, they're depending and trusting and loving like Jesus did. Like they don't do anything unless the Father tells them to do it like Jesus. Man, it's like being with Jesus. This is amazing. Do your friends say that about you? Because guarantee it, like I thought about this and I was like, I spend the most time with my wife. And there's very few days where Jenna's like, Brandon, you're like Jesus right now. Like, I love when you come home from work because it's like Jesus comes home. No, I wish so bad that Jesus was literally that evident in my life, that my wife, who knows me the best, sees my worst and the best, would say, hey, you know what? You're like Jesus right now. But to be honest, it's not true. And I'm a pastor. Like, what? Shouldn't that make sense? Yeah, the answer is it should, but it doesn't. So I have work to do. True friends build us up. Secondly, true friends serve you and support you. Here's how this plays out. 2 verses for you guys to look at. True friends serve and support you. Check out these verses. Galatians 6:2. I love this. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. What did Jesus tell you to do? You guys failed, sorry. John 15, it's in there. There's no trick questions, just read John 15. Jesus, his words are in red too, to make it even clearer. They're not black, they're red. He says, my one commandment, love one another, right? Paul is writing to the church in Galatians because they're all selfish sinners needing the Savior Jesus. And he says, hey, listen, Jesus told you to do one thing. What did he tell you to do? Love one another. Love one another, right? Here's how you do that. You carry each other's burdens. Here's how we do it. We text them and say, hey, you're a jerk. You said this. Hey, you said this and I take offense. You're being mean. And you Snapchat and you do this and you throw shade and you talk bad, you gossip, right? So Paul's like, hey, stop it. Carry their burdens. If someone's in sin, don't point a finger and make fun of them. Go up to him and say, hey, let's carry your burden. Let's carry your sin to Jesus. He's the Savior. I'm not the judge, jury, and executioner. I'm a sinner too. I struggle with that, but Jesus saved me. Now I have the strength to carry your burdens to Jesus, who's going to help you. Carry each other's burdens is loving. It's again, going back to that question. When you look at a friendship relationship, are you being a true friend? And are you looking at that relationship with what you can get out of it or what you can give to them? Flip it the other way. Are your friends looking at you with your burdens, your depression, your anxiety, your stress, and are they come alongside you because they look at that relationship as what they can give to you, not what they can get from you, but what they can give to you, and they're going to carry your burdens with you. That's awesome. That's a true friend who serves you and supports you. Second verse, Philippians 2, Paul again writes to the church in Philippi saying this, hey, each of you should look not only to your own interest, but also to the interest of others. So a true friend, if you have a true friend in your life, they look to your interests, they look to your needs because they're serving you, they're supporting you, they're carrying your burdens, and they care about the things that you care about. Do you have these true friends in your life? Are you thinking about them right now? Man, I'm so glad I have this true friend. They love to carry my burdens with me. They're always thinking about my needs, putting my needs above their own. That's a true friend. You can search on the internet, BuzzFeed, all these little, Google has all these cool little clickbait articles about friends, and basically everything I read could be summed up in this. The friends that you should dump, the friends that you should cut off right now, all of them are looking at your relationship based on what they can get from you, not what they can give to you. That's it. They're selfish. They're looking at you saying, he's got an Xbox One with Xbox Live, I'll play, sure. She's got like 3 closets that you can walk in, spin around, and you still can't see the end of clothes and shoes. I'll go hang out with her because she's going to hook me up. She throws away brand new clothes with tags on it all the time. I'll hang out with what I can get from her, sure. But how many true friends do you have that say, no, I'm gonna build you up. I'm gonna serve you and support you. And thirdly, how many true friends strengthen you? I mean, really give you strength. When times are hard, when trials hit, when you're depressed, when you're not yourself and your friend's there, the true friend is there to strengthen you. True friends strengthen you. That's the third thing, that true friends strengthens you. Because the true friends look at that relationship and they see what they can give to you to give you strength in that moment. When you're done, when the world's against you, when your back's up against the wall, and your true friends are right there to strengthen you, right? That's what a true friend is. As I thought about that, I was like, dude, I need a just killer picture. So I found one. So check it out with me, and I'll explain what kind of happened here. Check out this true friend that gives his other friend strength. Check out this clip.
We're just here to play ball.
It's just a bunch of crackpots still fighting the Civil War.
Well, hell, we'd have won that son of a gun if the cornstalks would have held out. We just ran out of ammunition.
Better luck next time, Pee Wee.
Ain't gonna be a next time, Jake. All we got's right here. Thank you, Jake.
So that what you saw right there followed what happened in most stadiums for Jackie Robinson, the African-American player to break the color barrier in professional sports. And he was constantly berated, persecuted, heckled at. And in that situation, he was at his home stadium, home turf, misses the ball, commits an error, and his fans completely lose their mind, go irate, start heckling him. And his buddy, his roommate, Pee-wee, comes over. It's a funny name, but that white guy, Pee-wee, comes over and is like, hey, meet me here. Obviously, he was still processing, makes a kind of joke, we would have won that war. And he's like, better luck next time. But what happened was he came up to him and he gave him strength because he put his arm around him and he stood and faced whatever trial Jackie was facing. A true friend stands with you no matter what you're facing and no matter what the impact it's going to have on them. Pee-wee was a successful baseball player. His reputation was on the line. No one was talking about Jackie. No one was writing about Jackie. It wasn't until years later that this story started to be talked and even written about because of the controversy that it created. Pee-wee was willing to put his name on the line to stand next to his friend and give him strength. True friends build you up. Say it with me. True friends build you up.
True friends build you up.
True friends serve and support.
True friends serve and support.
And thirdly, true friends give you strength.
True friends give you strength.
Wouldn't it be awesome if you had 2, 3, 4 true friends in your life that built you up, served you, supported you, and gave you strength when times were tough? Wouldn't that be amazing? There's this thing I read that this guy went out into the world and was looking for a friend, and he couldn't find any. So then he went back into the world and he decided to be a true friend that built people up, that served others, that supported them. And lastly, he was going to give them strength. And when he did that, he couldn't look around in any direction and not see friends lining up to be his friend. See, Jesus came and did just that. He came to build us up. He came to seek us and save us when he found us so far from him, so that he could serve us and support us. And lastly, he gave us the most strongest gift of all, which is his Spirit to live inside of us, so that we would be true friends to others and show them God's love through how we treated them. That's why Jesus gave us one commandment: go and love one another as I've loved you. Because I'm going to lay my life down for you so that I can call you my friends. When you look at your relationships with your friends, are you looking at those relationships from the perspective of how much you can get out of them or how much you can give to them by being a true friend that builds them up, serves them, supports them, and thirdly, what is it? Strengthens them.